Hello, my name is Chelsea Walker. In the past, I spoke to you about track and field and how it relates to life in general. This time, I want to talk to you about the U.S. Olympic Organization as a whole. When you think about the organization, you think about talent, leadership, and just overall higher standards. Olympians are expected to perform at top conditions no matter the weather. Did you know that in the 1996 Olympics, there were over 150,000 fans, 500 athletes, with the temperatures reaching upwards of 97 degrees, and that was in the shade. Yet there were over several records broken by the USA team and over 30 medals given. To make it on the USA team, past performances are a plus, but do not ultimately decide whether or not you will be placed on the team. USTA is a guideline and a resource for track and field athletes of the USA. One of the rules for the track and field is simple. The day of the trials, in order to make it to the team, you must first, 1, try to make it to the finals of your given event, and 2, you have to make it to the top 3 in that race in order to make the U.S. Olympic team. How often do you see an outstanding athlete from the USA compared to a foreign athlete? It may be biased because you are from USA, but can you just imagine someone you know on the Olympic team, no matter the sport, but to know that they were picked because that they were the best, that all the practices and sacrifices paid off at the right moment? The U.S. Olympic Organization helps showcase the pure talent of athletes across the U.S. This organization has a higher overall standard that it expects from its athletes. Qualification for this organization is not based off of just past statistical performances, but is more intense than that. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the need of an outstanding athlete in our area to continue and uphold the track and field record. One of the problems we face today is less children being active that could hinder untamed talent to contribute to the U.S. outstanding Olympic track record. The U.S. Olympic Organization holds its standards high with its athletes. With that being said, these athletes in the past and present collectively posted over 50 records, both men and women. Over the years, numerous of talented athletes decreased due to inactivity of the youth and just overall failing to meet those standards. With that being said, one of the problems that we face today is the lack of interactive kids that want to get involved with sports and physical activity. The need to have many more athletes that are dedicated to the sport and work that it takes to become top contender countrywide. Because of the decrease in athletes, there is an increase in childhood obesity. Besides the youth not becoming athletes, it still should be stressed that your child should be fit and active for health's sake. Not only is the problem nationally, but is affecting our youth as young as 5 years of age. It is said by the CDC that the percentage of children aged 5 to 11 years in the United States who were obese increased from 7% in 1980 to nearly 18% in 2012. Similarly, the percentage of adolescents aged 12 to 19 years old who were obese increased from 5% to nearly 21% over the same period. The remaining facts that I want to present is 1, obese youth are more likely to have risk factors of cardiovascular disease such as cholesterol or high blood pressure. And 2, also children, adolescents who are obese are at greater risk for bone and joint problems, sleep apnea, and social psychological problems such as stigmatism and poor self-esteem. From all these given facts, I'm sure that you can see that there's a need for athletes and fitness in a child's life. I'm pretty sure many of you already know the importance of physical activity and workout as often as you can. So just an hour activity outside with younger siblings or family members can reduce obesity, unhealthy habits, and nurture a talent that might not even Now that I've stated all the wrong, let's talk about ways that we could potentially solve this. Now, everyone has seen the new movement that the First Lady herself has started to promote physical fitness, but let's build upon that. An hour a day of play could really change a child's life by setting aside a time which allows the child to achieve maximum activity. This could also lead to child perfecting its technique in a sport or such things that it could nature. If you don't make the activity fun, the child may be really disengaged or even not want to try it again. Try different activities or sports daily just to make it more interesting. You can see that it isn't difficult to plan the activities or find something to do. There are over 400 sports that can be done. There are also over 100 of these sports that happen in the Olympics. Now let's look at what happens if you choose to nurture a child's athleticness and what happens if you choose not to. Making these strides can not only benefit the child, but it could also benefit the U.S. Olympic Organization. If you promote physical fitness, it promotes healthiness and prevents childhood obesity. This could also allow the child to find a sport that they could ultimately become a professional at and become part of the U.S. Olympic Organization, upholding its standards set by the organization. Let's start with this scenario. A 12-year-old began to participate in a sport offered by its middle school, and the adults set aside 2 hours of physical activity before they went to middle school. The child began to work out more, decreased body fat, and ultimately became MVP of the team. The team makes it to state championships, and believe it or not, someone takes an interest in that child. This could lead to scholarships for college. If they continue after college, it could lead to endorsements and ultimately a chance to become a part of the U.S. Olympic Organization. If you decide to sweep the knowledge underneath the rug, the youth might not become active and only think about being active and only think about joining the sport. You may also gain weight and become unhealthy. Then no one knows what could have been. Without the physical activity, you take the chance of obesity, mood swings, and poor self-esteem. As you can easily see, physical activity can lead to more than just a healthier lifestyle. It can lead to scholarships, endorsements, and an overall better way of life that could lead to the U.S. Olympic Organization. I've told you about the need for outstanding athletes. Now there's an increase in childhood obesity, and finally how the youth can benefit from daily physical activities that could find a natural talent. You can become active just by a simple gesture. You can find a hidden talent. Ultimately, it could fulfill a future gap of outstanding athletes. I'm going to leave you with this short message from Michelle Obama. One of the things that I want all of the kids to remember is the message is that these Major League Soccer players, athletes, football players, and future stars were not born superstar athletes. Many of them started out just like you, playing on a team at school or just kicking a ball around in the playground with their friends, but they stuck with it. This type of action is what makes the U.S. Olympic Organization as successful as it is over the past decade.